Hi everyone, thanks for coming by and checking another watch video. Today we're going to take a quick look at the nicknamed the Orient Beast. It is another Orient dive watch from the M4 series. It is an Orient caliber 40N 5A with a blue dial. It's 200 meters water resistance. Has a 47 by 53 dimension, so a rather large watch, about 14 mils thick, which is not huge, but big enough, with a 24 millimeter bracelet. 24 is nice to see because a lot of these Orients tend to be like 23 or something, which is just a little bit off, where it's easier to change bracelets. It is an interesting watch. First of all, it is obviously a lefty crown, so you could say it could be worn on the left wrist, but of course most of us will still wear it on the right wrist. Even though I'm left-handed, actually, I wear my watches on the left wrist. It is a bit of a departure for previous M-Forces. M-Forces always tend to be, a bit odd. I mean, frankly, Orient watches are very, very cool, and they're a fantastic value for the money, but the styling can be a bit iffy. But at the same time, it can be really intriguing. This one I like a lot because it has the round indices, the partially shrouded bezel on the case. I think the left crown is really quite nice. The crown itself is, of course, being an Orient M-Force that is signed. You have the little indicator here, which again I think maybe a bit odd. I have the red band on the crown and the red triangle, and basically if they match, your crown is unscrewed. So you want to make sure that your the red band is in further than the actual triangle marker. The case is nicely done. It has a nice mix of polished and brushed surfaces with, of course, drilled end lugs. And again, you can see it's not a massively tall watch. I mean, it's a big watch, but it's not too tall. It does have a rather nice bracelet. Again, we're not talking about super expensive watches here, so the bracelets are not amazing, but it is rather nice, and has a nice kind of H-type bracelet, which reminds me of earlier IWC aqua timer types. I do have an aqua timer myself, on rubber actually, but it does remind me of that kind of style. The dial, again going back, is a very deep, rich blue on this one. I believe there's a red one and a black one. I tend to like blue a lot, so when I found this one, I snapped it up. Being an Orient, it does have the power reserve. They kind of always have power reserves on some of the slightly higher up watches. Also, being an Orient M-Force, it is Sapphire. In previous videos I've talked about, I don't really care too much about Sapphire or not, particularly when compared to Seiko's Hardlex, because it is almost as good as Sapphire. Regular mineral does tend to scratch more, so when there is Sapphire, it's certainly welcome, and in this case it is, and on a watch that is more than affordable. As usual at M-Force, speaking of affordability, these things go for like $600-700 MSRP, can be found for $400 to $500 range. This one I picked up here in Tokyo on Amazon.co.jp, as I often do, for a really ridiculously cheap price of about $200. So I feel really happy with the deal I got on this for what it is. Okay, so back to the watch itself. Like I say, interesting case, lefty. The case finishing is not anywhere near is something like a Seiko Sumo, for example, which you might find as a competitor for these watches. But what it makes up for in that, it makes it gets the tick boxes for uniqueness. And maybe some people just be a fan of the fact that the strap is more balanced with the watch itself, the bracelet being 24. Caseback being a Orient, nothing super exciting, pretty basic stuff. Very flat, which again makes it wear quite nice on the wrist. The bracelet, standard Orient fare with the safety lock and the 2 push pins. We'll get in there, and the stamped steel. But again, for the price, you really can't complain. Again, some of us like to point out the fact that it wasn't too long ago that Rolex was selling multi-$1,000 watches with stamped steel bracelet clasps. So there you are. Again, Just quickly summarize the Orient M-Force Beast. A big watch, not huge, unique, left-handed, power reserve, sapphire crystal, hacking, and winding. Great deal for the money, and a really unique piece. If something that you're interested in, I'd suggest seeking out. You can probably find some deals on them still out there. Definitely worth adding to the collection if you want something a little different. All right, thank you, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.